worse. And a lot of men are sort of taking it personally and feeling really demoralized about being male in this milieu, in this time when it's perfectly okay to be sexist toward men. It's actually even considered to be female empowerment in some circles. So what's going on with all of these stereotypes about men these days? Well, I think it's very much like the mirror image of what was going on with stereotypes back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s before feminism became as effective and powerful as it has become. Stereotypes were used by men to keep women out of the male domain. It's very much the same thing now, except stereotypes against men are used to keep men out of the female domain. So what's the female domain, you might be wondering? You want to wonder that? Do you wonder what is the female domain, or do you sort of like know intuitively what the female domain is?
No, tell us. I'm not sure.
Okay. The female domain, well, let's talk about what we know first. Let's establish that first. Remind ourselves of that first.
Okay.
The male domain is the domain of the hierarchy. You know, we think about male power structures as hierarchical. There's a few bosses at the top. And what feminism does is looks at the top of the male power structure and talks about how it's not fair that all of the people running the biggest corporations, not all of them, most of the people running the big corporations, every United States president, most government leaders around the world have been men, and it's just not fair. That's sexist. It's wrong. Well, in America, we have this notion of the Fortune 500. Do you know about the Fortune 500?
Yeah.
Okay. So feminism often talks about the Fortune 500 and looks at the top of the pyramid and says, looks at the Fortune 500 companies and says, 92% of the people in charge of those companies are men. It's not fair. What feminism does not do is look at the bottom of the pyramid and observe that along with the Fortune 500 at the top, we need to be talking about the misfortune 5 million at the bottom, because there are a lot more men who have very little power than have very much power.
Oh, that's not
Okay?
interesting for them. That's not interesting to talk about for them because because they want to attack, right? Like from what I understand, those extremists, like we should not generalize. I think there's a lot of feminists, but the like, what is this phrase? Like few loud minority, as far as I understand, of extremism in every field. Those are the ones that get the most attention. And I know that when it comes to feminists, the few minority who are extremists are very loud and they like to attack. That's the thing. So what's the benefit of attacking the ones at the bottom? None.
Well, no, they don't want to attack. I don't want them to attack the ones at the bottom. I want them to acknowledge, just observe, just see them and recognize that there are men, many more men who have very little power than have very much power. I don't want them to attack the men at the bottom. They don't even want to notice the men at the bottom. I want them to say, oh yeah, being male is not always being at the top. Actually, being male is more often being closer to the bottom. Now, the phrase that we use in English, and your English is pretty good. Have you heard the term "the squeaky wheel gets the grease"?
No, I never heard what that means.
So that's the idea in American English. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. If you have a machine in a factory and it's squeaking, that's the one that's going to get the grease. And in terms of human communication and in democracies, the ones who complain the most are going to get the attention. Now, feminism, and you're right, we should not criticize all feminists And I did say at the beginning that there is no one definition of feminism. I'm talking about the ones that are currently controlling the discussion in the media and in government. And I don't know if there are a majority of people who call themselves feminists or not. I suspect they're a minority, but the squeaky wheels, a squeaky minority, can get lots of attention if they're fierce and relentless and well paid and well funded and well educated. I think that's the current situation with feminism as it is today. It's not what feminism started out being. It's what a lot of noble organizations become after a while when they grow and they get more and more people on their payrolls. None of the people in those feminist organizations want to say, well, you know what? I think we've pretty much done everything that feminism needed to do because we really aren't stuck at home anymore. We can be astronauts. We can be airline pilots. We're running for president now. We got people in the Senate. Well, let's just say we've pretty much accomplished what we need to accomplish, and let's all go home and give up our jobs and close our organizations. Nobody is going to give up their payroll. Nobody's going to give up their job. So they got to keep saying, and the phrase they often use is, while much progress has been made, there is still so much more to do. They never want to say, yep, we've done it. Let's close up and work on some other important problems. All right, so we're talking now about the female domain. What is the female domain? The male domain is the hierarchy. You can think of it as like an office building, a very tall office building. You can see it from 20 miles away. Okay? And you look around and you think, now, this guy Kammer